Hey everyone, so I haven't been on YouTube for a while. I haven't made a video in a while, so I thought I will make a video on something I get requests, asked often about. So I have a video on washing and styling, which you can see in my other videos that I have listed. So here I have an air dried piece. This was hanging on one of my hooks. So the part is, the front just kind of falls on the face. It's not styled. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is style it and also blow dry it up in a way that, you can keep the hair out of the face. I have a video already on styling. It's just a couple of years old now, so I thought to make a new one. If you wanted to skip to the end on how to blow up the wig or the topper, you can do that as well. So I'm going to be adding some curls, and I'm going to be showing how I send it out, because a lot of times people say, can you make a video on what you do before you send it out? So I personally don't have enough mannequin heads to dry them all on, because sometimes I wash like 30 in one day. So I have just like kind of like a hooks thing, so they kind of don't always sit so flat on a mannequin's head, so they kind of get like a ridge in the hair. The cap gets all like, crumbly inside, which makes air bubbles on top. So what I like to do is take a blow dryer and kind of just blast it inside. And then also get the hair down a little bit. You don't ever want to put the blow dryer directly on top, that will burn the hair. That could cause a bald spot. It's not. You want to just kind of go like this, just like gently touch it and get the hairs down. Some people also like to take a curling iron and go like this, but I'm not into that way. I like doing it this way. That's what works for me. Okay, so now I have my pretty flat top, my flat cap. It's always good to dry your topper on an actual mannequin head so it gets a form of a head. But if you don't have one, then you can just let it, hang down and do what I just did to get the form of the head back. Now, it's a little bit wet still. I'm just gonna blow dry it a little bit to make it fully dry. I don't normally suggest to, unless you're in a really major rush, to wet it and blow dry it while it's, sopping wet. It's good to get it like 90% dry, which is basically what this was. And if you need to then blow dry it, you could, but usually we do it on fully dried hair. But this again was a little bit wet, so now I made it pretty much dry. So I can start curling it. Just so that I get the information on the topper. It's hard to see in this lighting anyway. I don't have the lighting in here, but this is a mousse brown that we added a darker root to. So again, I have a video already curling, so if you're already a curling pro, you can skip this and go toward the end to see how I blow dry the front up. So I personally, I think my old video, I haven't watched it, but I made it about 3 years ago, I think. I always swapped. I curled one way this way, one way that way, one way this way, one way that way. I usually only really do that in the back now. I like doing the front all going back in the same direction. I found that if you kind of do a twisty turning a lot of times the curls will go into each other and kind of tangle. It is a more beachy look, so it is very pretty, but for me, personally, I just curl it all on the sides. In the back, going backwards in this way, and then in the back, I'll kind of do that mixing thing that way. Because if you curl everything in the back like this, a lot of times there'll be a split here. So when I get to the back, you'll see I will be doing some this way and some that way. So I like to first kind of iron the hair. I do before each piece. Not always, just to get it more smooth if I want to. It helps with that also. So twist once and then you pull and you twist again. I like to leave the ends out so that it gets more beachy effect, but if you don't want the beachy effect, then you can, I'm sorry, I guess you can't see. If you don't want the beachy effect, then you can go all the way down. But I also, before I learned how to curl, thought that you kind of just like wrap it around like this. But that's not gonna give it a curl, that's only gonna curl kind of like the end, and it's gonna fall out after a day or two. What you have to do is go all the way to the end, twist, pull again. Sorry, you don't go to the end, you go halfway down. And you pull, and if you want to pull one more time, depending on how long the hair is. If it's shorter, you don't have to usually do it more than like twice, or even more than once, but this one is about, I think, 22 inches, so it kind of just becomes second nature after a while. It is a little bit complicated at first to do, so I'm gonna go a little bit slower. But again, I'm just smoothing this now, and then halfway, twist, pull, and you're releasing a little bit. Some people like doing it with a wand also. A lot of people find it to be easier with a wand, but I've found that the wand doesn't hold as long as the curling iron does, which is fine for some people. If you find it easier for you, then you can obviously put the wand through it more than once. But for me, who's not, I don't really like to curl so often, not because of the heat. I'm not so worried about that. It's more of laziness and no time. So I just like to use a curling iron because the curls hold longer for me. Now I'm doing loose curls. I'm not doing such tight curls because this is just going out to a client. See, when I get to the back, I start going the opposite direction. But if I was doing it for myself, I would probably hold it a little bit longer, just to let it, stay curled for longer. When I send it out to clients, I don't like making it super tight, just because some people like it straight, some people like it curly, some people don't want to be like overly dramatic with their curls. So I kind of make it like a more like loose beach wave, which I'll open towards the end. I let it stay in its curls until I'm done. Like if I were to do it myself for like, everyday wear, I'd probably hold it like this for a while. Just some more information, I'm using a babyless curling iron. It's 1.25 the size, 1.25. They sell it in, like in Ulta, Amazon, Bed Bath used to, I don't know if they still do. But they sell it all over, so it's pretty easy to find. I like the blue titanium one. I know they have a lot of other kinds. I haven't tried those, but I'm sure they're also good. And yeah. And I use the highest setting. Some people are scared to use such high, the highest number on it, but I'd rather get a good curl out of it than, putting it on like half the heat and letting it sit for like 10 seconds longer. I think the hair can handle a lot. I've seen pieces from my clients after like a year or two of wear, and I think the hair still holds up really nicely. Usually it's a color that's gone bad a little bit, like faded out, or the cap needed some work, like missing hairs, or discoloration, or the netting's coming apart a little bit after like a year or two of wear. But the hair itself, I've seen, and it looks like it's been holding up a lot pretty nicely. Okay, so on my last piece, and then I'll proceed to styling the front. Alrighty, so here are my curls. So pretty. Sorry, I say a lot, I know. So I just let it out with my fingers. So now, some people like the hair going down. I personally like the hair going up and out of the face, but everyone has their own preferences. I've seen people who wear it like this, and I've seen people wear it like this because they don't know how to get it out of the face, and I've seen people who wear it like this just because. Like on my topper that I'm wearing now, it's in a ponytail. You can see all my short hairs here, but when it's in a ponytail, it kind of just blends. With my own topper, I kind of leave it down because I wear it all the way to the front and it's very flush to my head. But when I wear my wig, I like getting a lot of volume in the front because my wig is like more of like my special occasion kind of piece. So again, it's really personal preference. Everyone has their own way of doing things. So if you like, this is just if you like doing, you know, getting it out of the face. So what's really an important step, besides the blow drying out of the face, is putting water, because the water kind of like, Alexa next. The water kind of like gives it more hold, so to speak. So I'll spray a little bit with water, and then I'll take a brush. Brush back while blow drying it. Now, if you want lift, I don't have my good comb down here. I have to wear it to my pictures. There's another one here somewhere. I can't find my comb, but I'll show you how I do it with this other comb, which is very flimsy and won't really get much lift. But what you would do is kind of pull up. It's hard to see in this video, sorry. What you do to get the volume is kind of comb forward and then blow dry to get up. Comb up and blow dry. That gives lift. What you can also do for a lift is to over direct. Kind of bring the hair over here, blow dry that way, and then again that way. This is parted in the middle, but it just depends on where you part, it doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna do a little bit because again, this keeps us fine, and I don't know if I like the volume, but this is basically how you do it. And do the same thing in the front. You wanna make sure not to pull so much in the very front, because if you do that, eventually this can like be trained to go back up, to go very up, and the fabric can start showing when you wear it. So you don't want to pull it too much in the very front. But so the best thing to do in the front is to kind of take a blow dryer and, you know, kind of blast it a little bit in the front. If you want to like even like touch it a little bit, you can. And I found that doing this, it kind of holds for real, like, you know, for a few wears. I don't even think with my full wig I even have to do it for like a good week. But I am more of a topper and a ponytail kind of person these days. So yeah, that's basically how I ship it out. You know, if you're not into the curls in the front, you can always like blow dry them. This one's a pre-cut piece. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me, but this one's like a pre-cut piece, so it has like a little bit of face framing in the front. Some people don't like curls in the front, they'll kind of just want it blown out. It'd be hard to get out the curls now, you'd have to iron it, but anyway, that's how you would do it. You would take a blow dryer and kind of just blow dry those out, or you can do it with the flat iron, doesn't matter. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you can comment below and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. As you see, the lift is in the front. At least I can pop it on my head on top of my ponytail, just so you can get an idea. There's a bump here, kind of ponytail right here, but as you can see, and I would be plucking out, you know, pulling out my hairline to help blend or whatever. Don't mind the bump here because it's not clipped in or whatever. But that's how you get the hair out of the face. You don't feel like it's like always like, you know, bothering you. It's also important to get the hair out of the face to thin, you know, get these pieces cut and thinned out in the face. This one was a pre-cut piece that someone bought, but a hairdresser can do it for you, or we can do it also. You can just email me about that. Okay, that's pretty much it. Have a good day, guys. Talk to you soon.